Hello and welcome to Symbols of Spring Rabbit. We're working on the rabbit in this project. We'll be using paint. Of course, you can color with whatever you've got. We'll be focusing on paint in this project. So let's get started. First, you're going to need some sort of paper and pencil. You'll need water and paint if you're using paint, a brush, a paper towel, and a special tool, a white crayon. We're going to use that to block off areas of the painting that we want to stay white. For the paper, you're going to need something pretty thick and something with a good texture to it. So I really recommend watercolor paper. I have cut mine into a small card. It's 4.5 by 6 inches. And that's a pretty good size for this little project. So always write your name first. And we're going to start, actually, instead of with our rabbit, we're going to start with a flower. I've got vertical lines and leaf shapes. We've practiced this before. All right. Having our circle here, we're going around it again and again with this curvy line. I'm just building out layers of that curvy line pattern until I filled it up. That looks good to me. Now I'm going to put my rabbit under the flower. It's a little baby rabbit that's playing hide and seek. And you'll remember this from last week's lesson. We talked about how to make a rabbit. Here's another version. Still using those same basic shapes. A triangle nose. There we go. And an oblong or oval shaped body. Oval shaped feet. Fuzzy tail. There we go. And I'm going to add, let's see, a ground line. Now you could add some other details up in this area if you want. I'm going to put a ground line here. If you want to keep it basic, this is a really good place to stop. But if you want to push it a little bit farther, you can use some of the space in the top of the picture, which I'm going to show you here. I've added another flower with a bunny hiding under it, and a ground line near the top. That's a zigzag ground line with some extra flowers. And then above that is my sky. So if you want to try that, you can. That's what I went ahead and did with mine, but you don't have to get as complicated as that if you don't want to. Now, the biggest part of my picture is going to be green, so I decided to start with green. It's also a pretty light color. Normally, I would start with my white crayon or my yellow, because those are the lightest colors I have. But I figured I was going to use a pretty light green, so it's going to be the biggest part of my picture. I figured I would start with green. Now, this might take you a while, but try to hang with it and don't get frustrated. You see, I'm just dipping my brush into the water to collect some water in my brush, and then when I touch that wet brush to the paint, it picks up color into the bristles of the brush. And then you just spread it around on your paper. If it's too much color in your brush, you can always make it a little bit lighter by dipping your brush in the water. That adds a little bit of water to your watercolor, and spreads it around more and gives you a nice light color, which is perfect for spring pictures. Add a little water here. Spread it around. There we go. And it might take you some time to get in between certain areas. If you find that your colors run into a spot that you don't want them to go, just use your paper towel to dab that area, and it will pick up the water and some of the color. It's kind of like an eraser. It still leaves a little bit of a mark, but it'll take away a bunch of it. So that's kind of your eraser for paint. It's a paper towel. All right, now I'm trying to make my leaf stem look a little bit, my flower stem and leaves, to look darker than the grass. So I used extra paint in my brush on that one. But now I'm coming over here with very light green and try to spread that out. Gotta make sure I go around my flower. I don't want the flower to be green, not the bloom. Go around my rabbit. Don't want my rabbit to be green. Although that would be good camouflage if there were green rabbits. They'd be very hard to see in the grass. But these rabbits are going to be brown. Having some extra, got some extra paint here, so I'm going to have to move it around. I'll get a little bit too wet over here. Let's move it over this way. Spread it down here. Yeah, and this is how you gotta kind of spread the paint around in your areas. If it gets too thick in one area, or if it pools up, there's a little too much water paint on there, it will make a dark spot in your painting. And it might make your paper wrinkle a bit too, so try to keep it from getting too wet, even though it is called watercolor. There we go. Spread it around. Check water. All right, I hope you're still with me. I know it took a while. But I wanted you to get an idea of about how long this will take. I'm actually, this video is actually sped up a little bit, so it might even take you longer than this, you know? That's all right. I'm going to be proud no matter what, as long as you try your best. All right. I see my leaves of my stems and flowers here are going to be a little darker, so I use more paint. I'll come back and touch up a few areas. That's pretty good. So now I'm going to rinse out my brush by wiping it on the bottom of the cup. And then, not smashing it, I just gently test it on my paper towel here to make sure all the green is out of it. I'm going to take my white crayon now. I'm going to add it to some spots on my rabbit that I want to be white. Sometimes they have little white spots on their backs. Their teeth stay white, and I wanted his tail to be white. I'm going to add some light red, which is pink, you know, if you put a little extra water in there. Made a little mistake, but I was able to erase it. I come back here, I want to get some pink on these flowers too. I think that'll be nice. Reddish pink. There we go. That's fun. Just spread that out. And this can take, you know, as long as you want. The more petals you make, you know, the more painting you have to do, but I think it'll be worth it. These are pretty big flowers. Big enough for a bunny to hide under. There we go. Focus on these other ones. If you need to, sometimes you can take a little break, come back later. You don't have to do it all at once. As long as you got a space that can go undisturbed for a while. You don't want anybody to come in and move your stuff around or spill the water on your artwork. That would be no bueno, no good. All right, rinse out my brush, test it on the paper, and get a new color. This time I'm going to add some brown. And all those spots where I added the white crayon, the brown paint is not going to stick to that part of the page, so it will stay white. There we go. So I don't have to worry about accidentally coloring the teeth brown because I went ahead and colored them with the white crayon. There we go. And remember, if your color gets too dark, you can always dab it with your paper towel. There we go. Get this friend up here. It can be hard to get those little tough to reach places, but when you do it, feel pretty cool. Feel proud of yourself. There we go. All right. Time for some yellow. I'm going to make the sky yellow here. Could be an early morning sky or a evening sky when the sun is about to go down. Sunset. Now that it's starting to be springtime almost, I've noticed the days are getting a little bit longer. Sun doesn't go down until after 6 now. That's pretty nice. I enjoy those last few hours of sunlight for sure. My dogs enjoy it. Try to get outside with them. Hope you're getting outside too, wherever you are. Let's see. I'm going to come at it this way. There we go. And you know, if you use red in your flowers and yellow in your sky, I like to do that because if you accidentally mix your colors a little bit, it's kind of okay for your sky to have a little bit of orange in there. That's okay. Not too bad. All right, there we go. All right. Make sure to clean out your brush and let it store in a dry, upright position. Well, there's the rabbit. I hope you had something that you enjoyed and that you're proud of at the end of your hard work. I can't wait to see what you make. Bye for now.